Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drake Queen Game, and it's something on Twitter, the game you drag today. I'm coming back at you with Let's Play episode of Tennis Ace, June's Path. So y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm Chan, you were up, and let's go! Oh, sorry. June sighs, slowly shaking his head. I can just barely notice his shoulders slightly slumping along with his tail curling around him and on his lap. No, sorry. I'm the one who should apologize. I did promise you I'd tell you the truth, it's just that I'm still embarrassed by it. I get it. Plus, I guess you'd be worried talking about this kind of thing in public, right? Ooh, excuse me. No, that part I'm fine with. Really good hearing and eyesight, remember? I know for a fact that no one is paying close enough attention to overhear us right now. How does that even work? Tigers have really sharp senses, and I am a ferocious tiger. Fear me. Rawr. Oh my god, did he just go rawr? Unreal. Made you laugh, didn't I? I'm struggling to keep a straight face right now, that much is for sure. Trying to lighten up the mood a bit when things get too intense isn't all that bad. I have a habit of doing it a lot. So much so that I do it without even thinking about it sometimes, like right now. Sorry. You don't need to apologize, just don't go rawr in public again. I don't think I'd be able to keep my composure a second time, and I'd rather people not look at me like I'm some kind of lunatic when I start laughing uncontrollably. I don't know. When you put it like that, it just makes me want to do it even more. Behave? Aww. Distracted as we were by our conversation, we were both caught up by surprise once the bell rings. Or maybe I am a tad more surprised than June is. I nearly jumped from my seat, which wouldn't have been great for my leg. Calm down, it's just a bell. It took me by surprise! I'll bet. With the door opening barely a minute after the official start of class, June and I are both forced to sit facing forward at the arrival of our teacher. I will say, the conversation did wonders for my mood, though I still don't want to watch class right now. Wish we could keep chatting like this. It's strange. I've known June for a while, but I don't remember our conversations ever quite feeling this refreshing before. Is this just from him no longer holding back and showing me more of his true personality? If so, it's kind of nice. An hour later. Once again, lunchtime arrives. Not at all too soon. I've been so distracted lately that the whole morning class period feels like a blur. It's not even like I'm intent on not paying attention, it's just that before I notice it, I start zoning out. Wondering myself if anyone is watching me to see how I react, asking myself whether the reason the teachers aren't calling on me to read or answering questions is because they pity me. Thinking that people are just waiting for me to stumble and prove that I do need help catching up after all. Those thoughts keep creeping up on me every now and again. It's honestly frustrating. I just want to go on with my life and not think about it, but when I least expect it, if I leave my guard down for even a second, I come right back away. I come back right away. Even when I think I'm doing good. Yuuichi-kun, are you even paying attention? Huh? Sorry. Zoned out. Yeah, I figured. At least you didn't lie and say you were listening. Yeah, I just have a lot on my mind lately. Yeah, I don't blame you. A lot has happened over the past few weeks. Jeez, when you put it like that, it makes me feel like I was insensitive for asking. Nah, you're perfectly fine. Just because I was distracted doesn't mean there's anything wrong. Oh, really? Yeah, I was thinking over some stuff, but nothing really all that important. Or, well, not super urgent at least. Though, I did want to ask a question. I just wasn't sure how to go about it. And what question is that? Well, the Kanto regionals are over. You both placed pretty well, all things considered. I wouldn't be surprised if this latest result got Keisuke a seated spot in the next competition, for instance. But are you guys adjusting your training any? You want to talk about that? Yeah, we don't have to talk about tennis. We can... Guys... June cuts into the conversation, interrupting Keisuke and Sai's attempts at deflection right away. Once all eyes are on him, he clears his throat, putting on a smile on his face before continuing. I know you think you're being helpful, but please stop doing that. Please let Yuuichi-san decide what he can and can't handle. It's barely even been a day since the last time he's asked. It's kind of hard to watch otherwise. Did June just interrupt them to back me up? God, I could kiss you right now, June. Right, my bad. I guess you really did tell us before and everything. It's just hard. We don't want to be the insensitive people that drone on and on about something you can't do ever again. It's indelicate. And I'd say the only indelicate part so far was the about something you can't do ever again anymore. Feels like that part wasn't necessary. Crap! I mean, I'm so... Yuichi-san, you two, don't tease people when they're trying their best to do as you asked. Teased? Sorry. When I saw my chance to make you squirm a little, I couldn't resist. Yuichi-san, that's cruel. It's my turn now to say my bad. You're evil. Yes, but for future reference, I accept Dr. Evil or Mr. Mayhem. Ah, so you're not just evil, you're delusional. What's the point of being a villain if you don't have a cool name? And a lair? Man, I gotta get myself one of those. Weren't you asking about tennis? Oh, right, thanks for the reminder. So close. Either way, Spill, come on, don't keep me in suspense, I really want to know. You guys just went through the second largest competition. The next step is already nationals, and I'm sure you're able to identify things you thought you needed to work on during your matches. We always do. Well, I guess so. But truth be told, when playing against Yuuichi and Tanabe-san, I did manage to realize a few things I needed to work on. Well, my ball control is quite good, and I don't lose to Tanabe-san in terms of short shot variety. He had way more complicated patterns of attack. I had a hard time even setting up my offense, since he'd quickly dismantle it. I'm not surprised. I did say before that you guys' styles are very similar. Tanabe isn't all that physically gifted, and granted, he's probably more so than you are. Not that that is particularly hard at high-level sports. Thanks, man. Tanabe does have more complicated attack patterns, but he also tends to be more decisive. You try to play the long can, which can be good, but it can also be to your own detriment. I've seen you ignore opportunities to score immediately so you can postpone the points. While it can work to throw your opponent off, it can also come back to bite you in the ass. But that's to advance my own playstyle. If I want to throw my opponents off their rhythm, I need to let them get into a rhythm first. Isn't that a given? Of course, like I said, it's not always a bad idea. But you need to learn to balance those two things better. Not every opponent is going to be susceptible to that kind of strategy, so it'd be good for you to learn to be more decisive. Besides, Tanabe also has an advantage in that his fundamentals are almost all spec'd higher than yours. The only thing I'd say you might be legitimately better than him at is your footwork. You're pretty spry on your feet. You should capitalize more on that. Capitalize on it? How? Well, your shots have a lot of variety, but they lack weight. If you figured out how to add more power behind them without sacrificing too much fine control, that'd be one way to force your opponents to ease up. Force more errors. You're fast on your feet, and you also react reasonably fast. If you really want to stick to your plans and forsaken opportunities to score in favor of conning your opponent, then you should learn to play a more defensive style, like Saya does, though you're nowhere near having her monster stamina. Huh, funny you say that. Oh, Keisuke's whole face crunches up at my mention of his shots lacking weight. Did I perhaps strike a nerve? Is everything okay? It's fine. It's just something else I realized when I was playing against Yuuichi. Every time I hit a shot that would otherwise be a winner, he somehow managed to make his way back to the ball. Not only that, I wasn't able to push him nearly as much during my serve game as I would have liked. Yuuichi is a special case. He's tenacity taken to the extreme. If you have any openings whatsoever, he will keep grinding the point out until he finds them. A stronger serve might be able to push him back just far enough to give you the opening you need to score, but it's kind of pointless if you have to sacrifice your control to do it. Well, it's not like I can't hit the ball harder, but you're right. I'd have to sacrifice my control to do it, so I never bothered trying. Try to incorporate stronger shots into your repertoire. Practice increasing the strength of your ground strokes little by little until you can level them up a bit. Even if you have to lose some control to do it, just make sure it's not a considerable amount. 3 to 6% loss of control would probably be fine. Keisuke is already plenty accurate enough. That excess accuracy is useless, however, if it can't be used to his benefit to score the point. Against lower-level opponents, he would probably be fine, but players at high levels tend to be scrappier than most. They're used to everything high-level. Just having accurate shots is enough to cut it if they're so used to people that hit hard that your shots end up sluggish by comparison. Second, y'all. Water time. Alrighty, y'all, and we are back. Okay. Oh, and this is something else I noticed the last time we played, but it wouldn't hurt for you to make your shots more compact. Compact? It's mostly when you're using your backhand, but your swing tends to be far too wide. I get the wider swing is a good way to impart more force into the shot, which can be used as a decent strategy without affecting your contact point on the ball, but too wide a swing will make you lose time. But if you're constantly using bigger swings, there's going to be a time lag. You have to get into position sooner since your swing takes longer, which can by itself affect the quality of your contact. A compact swing is better for a more consistent playstyle, especially if you're being defensive. It's true. I tend to keep my swings pretty compact myself. Of course you do. You're a defensive baseliner. Consistency, and tenacity are your strong suits. While, sure, you could probably add way more power into your strokes if you made your swings wider, there's really no point when you can already outgrind anyone else. The important thing here is balance. You don't want your swing so compact that you lack strength, but you don't want your swing so wide that you can't keep it consistent. Besides, if you perfect a more compact swing, you can take the time you gain to hit balls on the rise to further force your opponent onto the defensive, or to simply give yourself extra time to think. Kaken is the type to be thinking five moves ahead at all times. He needs as much breathing room as he can get. When you're in the middle of a rally, gasping for air and starving yourself of oxygen, that gets really difficult. I see. So any advantage I can get to work to my favor. Even if it's only a few milliseconds every shot, it'll eventually add up into a huge shift. Yeah, now you're getting it. Of course, that's not to say you should only ever hit compact. A wider swing can be good when you're already ahead and want to press your lead, or when you want some extra oomph to put away a winner shot. But your style is very different from mine, and I could tell when I played against you that you kept trying to mimic my technique. You noticed that? Of course I did. I'm not blind. Saya and Keski both stare at me like they just saw a ghost or something. They can't quite believe what they're hearing. I don't know why, but I'm starting to feel a little creeped out by it. Why are you guys staring at me all quiet like that? It's kind of creepy. Hey, Yuuichi, since when did you pay that much attention to Keisuke? Huh? Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. What's that supposed to mean? You always seemed quite uninterested in other players during practice. You'd zoned out into your own routine and it was like the whole world disappeared. So I guess we're all surprised that you paid that much attention to me to notice all that. What the hell is that supposed to mean? You made me sound like some kind of self-absorbed douchebag. Of course not, that's not true. At least not the douchebag part. Yeah. What the hell? I am not self-absorbed. No offense, but I asked you tons of times to help me out with giving advice to other players, and you always dismissed me saying that it wasn't your job and that you didn't care. Because it wasn't my job! Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and pause it right there, y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and that notification bell, and check out our Patreon or YouTube memberships if you can. It always helps. But anyway, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!